Hey everyone, and welcome to Sketching with Sarah. I'm Sarah, and in today's video, I'm going to be turning my animal hybrid creatures into Animal Crossing villagers. I've been trying to get my hands on my own Nintendo Switch for the longest time since quarantine, and I finally was able to do it. And of course, the first thing I download is Animal Crossing, and I've been playing that basically non-stop for about a week or two now, so needless to say, I haven't been doing much else. Animal Crossing has such a weird way of making me feel so productive while not actually being productive in the real world. And because of that, I kind of procrastinated for today's upload. But enough chit chat, let's get right into the first villager. The first villager I'm going to create is my Octophant. He's an elephant octopus hybrid, so I'm drawing some of my favorite of each animal to get an idea of the Animal Crossing proportions for these animals before I start my own character design. I drew Ellie, Eloise, Dizzy, Marina, and Zucker, so I could get a good mix of boys and girls. Also, am I the only one that thinks Zucker looks kind of like a caramel apple? So after getting the hang of drawing these Animal Crossing characters, I moved on to combining and designing my Octophant. Something I noticed is that I haven't seen any elephant villagers that have tusks. So because of that, I decided to exclude the tusks from my Octophant, and I think it gives him that overall softer look anyway. I gave him that tentacle trunk, and of course the rest of his tentacles. And I struggled a little bit with what pose to give him on which way I should have him positioned. I really regret going over everything in Sharpie because my reference drawing for those villagers were on the back of that page. So now there is that ugly bleed through on the other side when I showed the flip through of all these drawings at the end of this video. So just bear with me. So here's Oliver the Octophant, or Ollie for short. For my next animal hybrid villager, I'm designing a Snostrich. I drew a couple bird villagers because I don't think there's any snake villagers. So for the snake portion, I kind of had to wing it. Wing, because they're birds. So to practice these Animal Crossing proportions, I drew Gladys and Sandy. If you've watched my sketchbook tour video, you'll recognize this one. I was really tempted to put all the little details and necklaces and beads and everything that I had in that drawing on this villager, but since Animal Crossing is just so simplistic, I really tried to stick to that, and I think adding the thick Sharpie outline kind of forced me to keep everything so simple. I can't wait to start exploring what colors I should put onto her, because in my Snostrich illustration, she definitely had her own iconic color scheme, so I'm excited to try that out. So here's Sasha the Snostrich. Next up is my snail character. I'm not sure if there are any snail villagers, so I just drew two of my favorite duck villagers, Molly and Bill. Molly is just the cutest thing, and I'm hoping to find her one day to invite her to my island. And Bill, I love how some villagers are just straight up stupid looking, and I love it. My snail is a mallard duck hybrid, so he would have a pretty emerald green head, a yellow beak with a black tip, and some pretty brown and white colors in his feathers. So when I go back to rework this digitally, I can't wait to go mess with those colors. I'm not sure what to name him, but I was thinking Kale. So here's Kale the snail. The next animal hybrid villager I'm designing is my Bippo. For this one, I doodled Bertha and Chip to learn the proportions of hippos and beavers in Animal Crossing. And then I jumped right on into designing Bippo. This is another one I feel would be more clear when I add color to it, because I would have the body brown and the black tail with the orange teeth, and I think that would make it look a lot more beaver-y and less like just a hippo. I also want to rework the tail a bit and make it less humped and more of a flat shape. And for all of these characters, I did keep a minimally plain shirt or outfit that they're wearing, mostly because I wanted to focus on their design primarily, and all of that can come afterwards, especially when I start picking the colors for the characters themselves. So here's Ben the Bippo. I know that they have those amiibo cards for each Animal Crossing villager, and I think it would be so fun to make Animal Crossing villager cards with my hybrid characters. They can kind of act like an artist trading card in a way, but also have that Animal Crossing vibe. I feel like that would be really fun to dive into, and I think when I start to rework these digitally, I'm gonna try and create a design where I can either make stickers or create those cards with them. Then I can sell them as prints or something like that, and I feel like it would just be a fun thing to have in general, because I am such a fan of Animal Crossing and my hybrids. I really enjoyed exploring the simple Animal Crossing style and how it applies to my characters. It was nice to be overly simple for a change. I mentioned briefly before, but for all of these villagers that I designed today, I'm going to be reworking them all digitally with color on my Twitch streams, just like I'm doing right now for my mermaid series. If you want to hang out with me, follow me on twitch.tv/sketchingwithsarah to be notified, and on my other social medias as well, because I do tweet every single time before I go live, and I also have countdowns in my stories so you don't miss it. I'd love for you to join so I can get some feedback and just to hang out. It's always a blast. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and comment to let me know if you would want any of these villagers living on your island. Which of the animal villagers are your favorite, and do you have them? Also, if you have Animal Crossing, please share some tips and tricks you have in the comments below, so someone who's just starting, or even for advanced players. Animal Crossing is such a wholesome game, and I really enjoy the sense of community that it creates. I included some links to some YouTube videos that I found that I refer to frequently for terraforming, flower crossbreeding, and daily tasks to not miss out on. So feel free to check those out, and I highly recommend those. I definitely learned a lot from them. While you're down there, I also have a list of all of the supplies I used in this video, as well as links to my other videos that I mentioned. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. I drew Ellie, Eloise.